G'day! Today we are hopefully finishing off our string challenge. I did already start filming this one and the game lovely crashed out and obviously lost any progress I'd made. So let's go at it again. So we are bringing in our last two pieces here of both Vanuatu and New Caledonia. The idea being that we'll let them sort of try and both get as many cities as they can while we try and figure out the rest. So we will start off with New Zealand, I think. We'll connect all the cities of New Zealand until we know what point we're exiting out the top. And at that point, then we'll jump all the way to the north, back up to Papua New Guinea, and we'll set up Papua New Guinea. I'm going to save at the point that I finish New Zealand here, because I don't trust this game at all anymore. You can see how much he's struggling with these final cities. Get Invercargill in the mix. Got Dunedin. Originally the challenge was, would you possibly be able to keep the cities of the world green while doing this? And the new question is, can the game actually handle the cities of the world? I do wonder if the game would run better or worse if I had a more sound structure of the world. Like if I had a really efficient setup so that basically passengers weren't spending so much time and every journey was say 3 steps, as opposed to, like, if Christchurch is going to Santiago, that's a hundreds of steps instructions that one plane or that one passenger is going to have to be operating with. He has to get to this city to get to that city. Whereas if, say, I had everyone just connecting to one middle city and then connecting out, would the game be working better, because everyone's instructions is basically 2 steps? I guess it depends on what part of this is causing the drag. All right, into our capital city. Ruston Napier. Napier's very stylish. They've got a lot of what do you call it? Like the style of writing that Bioshock's in. Escaped me at the moment. So Lord of the Rings, if you wanted to see the Lord of the Rings set, so where Hobbiton is, that's sort of up this way, and then the volcano that played the role of Mount Doom sort of down here. So there are people that have gone to Hobbiton, bought a ring, and then hiked the distance to the mountain that represented Mount Doom to let the ring have its journey. A fun little story. When I was at we went and visited Hobbiton 2017 or so. My daughter was still a baby at the time. Yeah, early 2017, I think. And you go and have a meal at is it the Green Dragon, the name of the inn? And while we were there, the grandson, I don't think he's the great-grandson, the grandson of Tolkien was there filming a documentary. His brother was really unwell and gave him a bucket list of things to do. And so there's a movie that you can see that's sort of him doing the different things on his bucket list. And for whatever reason, part of that, he was being filmed at the inn. And and I guess because my baby was that real cute young age, the director or whoever was like, "Oh, go meet them." And so, like, we got to meet the grandson of Tolkien. We got to have a picture with him. My daughter did not like him, and she was crying. So then he took a picture of us, which I think probably just like is quite funny because it's such a pointless thing. Like, oh, it's great, we got a picture. Like, Tolkien took a picture of us, but I think it was because then that makes for good footage. Like, you've then got it. Is that going to the right airport? Yeah. But I've never seen the actual film. I can't imagine that we made the final cut. But in case it does, there you go. Here we go. We've got a second city in Vanuatu. That means that we can. I think that then what we'd want to do is we bounce up into Vanuatu and then out to Fiji, and then back in. So quickly we'll cover our fun facts about Vanuatu. Officially the Republic of Vanuatu. Island country. Obviously, it doesn't say how many islands it's made up of, though. Always the interesting one. The France and the United Kingdom claim different parts of the archipelago. Then in the 1970s, the Republic was founded. Definitely don't have the Union Jack on their flag, and they do have a very nice flag too. Just remembered too that I'm out of New Zealand, so I'd need to save because I don't want to have to do this a third time. See that we're at 98% here, so we are right in the teeth of it. 100%. That's a beautiful thing to look at. So we're 100%. We still don't have one nation connected. But what we'll do, assuming that I should have well enough time here because we've got almost everything connected. We will finish it and have a look at what we've got in our stats for the end of this. But I reckon this is our final episode. I hope this is our final episode. And then just quickly as well, New Caledonia we'll have a quick read of. So New Caledonia is not a country. It is a sui generis collectivity of overseas France. It is 17,000 kilometers from metropolitan France. I don't know why they haven't ever gone for independence. I mean, possibly with island nations, I could believe that they're so small that there's a benefit to having a much wealthier country sort of manage you. Especially if they're not putting anything on you. Like, if they're not, like, making any demands of what you have to do or the way you operate, or in a way, at least, that you don't, like, that isn't objectionable to you, then why not? They have 2 French senators and 2 members of the National Assembly. So there are 348 senators in French Parliament, 2 of which are New Caledonia, and National Assembly, they're 2 of 557. Sorry, 577. So I guess they do have a tiny bit of say there. I can't imagine. I wonder if they commute, or if they just work remotely from New Caledonia. So sorry, I didn't say. Vanuatu population of about 300,000. New Caledonia population of 270,000. So both about the same size. Now the other thing as well is that with the size of the islands that we have in Oceania, there are plenty of countries that aren't represented at all. So we'll just have a quick look at those. So Palau is up here. We've then got Guam's up there, but it's part of the United States. The Marshall Islands, nice and small up here. The Federated States of Micronesia are in here. Nauru is just north of Solomon Islands. Kiribati is up here. The Cook Islands, which is part of New Zealand, sort of down this way. French Polynesia, which is part of France, down there. Norfolk Island, tiny little island in the middle of nowhere. It's part of Australia, so it could possibly show up as an Australian city. Tonga, just down here, Samoa. We've got plenty of little island nations around. Micronesia does actually seem like a really neat one to go to. If you've never looked it up, there are some ruins in Micronesia that are incredibly old, and I've heard comment before saying that if they were located in a more accessible part of the world, they would be probably a wonder of the world. But tiny little Micronesia, it's hard to get to. Of the islands in Oceania, it would be Solomon Islands or Vanuatu that I think would be my next on my list. My question is whether the Solomon... I think I might have said this before. Whether the Solomon Islands has resorts. I would happily do that. Go to Guadalcanal. Sort of get a combination of the World War II and the resorts. Vanuatu I'd like to go to, but that's more of an adventure holiday than resorts. New Caledonia I don't have that much interest in going to, and this is really fickle because it's not a country. And sometimes you want to travel somewhere and you're like, oh, I can tick off how many countries I've been to. New Caledonia is not. It puts it so much further down that list, and it's such a, like, I'm aware of how shallow that is and how it changes absolutely nothing about the place that you're visiting. But for me, it's and that is one thing that I'm trying to do, is I don't like the idea of going. I do it, but sometimes it seems pointless to go to a place just to say you've been there, as opposed to actually experience it in any way. Like, I can technically say I've been to Arkansas, but I literally drove across the bridge in Memphis to West Memphis, and then off the bridge, turned around and went back. So generally the bridge is the only thing that I did, but technically I went past a sign that said, welcome to Arkansas. And so have I been to Arkansas? I do think that you can't count an airport. Like, if you've only been to the airport of a country, you can't say you've been there. I've been to Bangkok Airport, but I don't think then I can claim if they've been to Thailand. And we're one connection off here. If this continues to move and doesn't crash out right here, lovely. And there. So, unless we've gotten a new city in New Caledonia, which it doesn't look like we have, that should be the entire world now connected. I've upgraded that guy, but I think it was this guy that I needed to upgrade. Yeah. Surely we're going to get another city in New Caledonia. I feel like New Caledonia looks bigger on this map than it actually is. I don't think it's that big. So, just a quick check on Antarctica. I don't think we've ended up with anything on this side of the map. And we'll just check on that side. And we're, nah, I think we're all good. So, just a quick overview sweep to make sure that no cities have been missed. I just want to check to make sure that goes... How's that for eyeballing a guy not properly upgraded? The other ones are just sort of their lot, but it's probably as far as we can really zoom out. We can't see Antarctica. There we go. That is the string in its absolute entirety. Still shocked that I don't have Perth. Amazed at how early we brought the United States into that I never got Alaska or Hawaii. Because Hawaii even appears on the map. I would have thought they'd grant that to us. So the most important thing that we're going to do now is we're going to save. Because we've made it to the end. So let's do a quick run through the line while we have a look at the stats at the end. So we're starting off in Antarctica. We move through You guys that are sort of moving like Christmas lights down here. Probably still some pretty small, I mean, if I could just blanket say, like, upgrade everyone. So in a very convoluted way that we sort of work our way up and then loop back down, up through Central America. And then all the way up. Oh, we do have another city. Sell that guy. Just seeing these different lines where there's more than one plane on a line and going like, oh man, remember that? Remember where we had the confidence to add 2 planes to the same one line? What a world. But we have just split that guy's distance in half, so hopefully that makes him a little bit more manageable. I was gonna say I should upgrade these guys, but it really doesn't matter because we're done, right? As long as the cities are connected. We could, Alright, so we go up, run up the coast to San Jose, and then down, back into Mexico, and then across and down through Cuba, back into America, and then we roll across America, through Canada, and then up across Greenland, Iceland, Europe. How do we bounce? So we bounce down this way, through, touch Morocco, go all the way back up into Scandinavia, down through Eastern Europe, and we sort of just hit here and we swing all the way into Russia, come back, down, through, and then we come back up and we enter Africa here, and we work our way through some of the busiest sections of the map through here, I reckon. Down, 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 all the way back up through the Middle East, through, and then up into China. I feel China's severely underrepresented though. There's got to be more cities than that, than what we're seeing here in China. And down through Australia, which is definitely, I reckon, busier than it deserves to be, with the exception of Perth. Down, and then finishing out in New Zealand. Well, I think we've got it. The only thing left to do is to add the French Southern and Antarctic lands. We can have one last fire of the map, which I feel like it's a little bit was before. We'll save one more time because we just got another city in there at the end. I think that, yeah, like I said, I would love to sort of play around. Now that I've got a map that has basically all the cities unlocked with it, it could be neat to sort of play around with. I'd love to try a all cities connected to one location to see how it goes, and that would definitely be this guy here. You can see how middle of the map he is and how much space he's got, so that we could build an airport the size of southern Libya to take in all these planes and he'd be okay. Can't imagine that like one would work too well because you'd have so many planes traveling so far. But anyway, we ready for this? Ready to say goodbye to what we've put about 30 something hours into? Oh, it just lets me keep going, does it? Doesn't actually give me an end screen. Oh, I was expecting my end screen and stats. So I don't get stats at all? Cold. Alright, well, we've now got this city here, out in the middle of nowhere. But now, he is going to get a connection to the Antarctic lands, I reckon. I think this is going to be his closest city. What a bummer. I was hoping to see my my final stats. Now I could connect. It's not Queenstown, but the city they've put right next to Queenstown over here to sort of just have that loop. But I mean, the amount of planes that would go this way and people that would get jam-packed stuck on this line does not seem worth it. A quick note though, while I've just done that, is look how far I've pulled myself below the map. That was a cool little like behind the scenes look at what's south of South Pole. I guess that's it. We don't get stats. Give me stats. Nothing. I guess that ends with a little bit of a whimper. The then question would be, could I play around enough to try and get rid of my 30%? Like if I upgraded every single city in the world, if I gave every single city 5 planes for their flight connections, do I think I'd get rid of it? And I would say no. For me, the issue is going to be that there's long flights in there. So if all of these, say, planes are moving at incredible efficiency, imagine that everything in America was moving with incredible efficiency. When they hit this really long route here, there's going to be slowing because this many passengers, so you're looking at what, like 60% of the passengers are going to want to travel outside of America, and they're going to have a problem. Well, if you did make it to the end of this one, and therefore made it through the entire series, thank you. Thanks for joining me on this very long, sometimes very frustrating journey, but we got there. The entire world. Any questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below, and until next time, catch you later. See ya.